Later in the course, we will need to randomize data points and lists with data points, and that's when we'll be able to use Python's built-in range function. It can help us by creating a Python range object, which actually is a mere sequence of integers. The syntax of the function is the following: type range, and in parentheses, mark a start, stop, and step value. The start value will be the first number in the list. The stop value will be greater than the last value in the list. It is going to be equal to the last number plus 1. Just classical Pythonic logic, right? The so-called step value represents the distance between each two consecutive values on the list. The stop value is a required input, while the start and step values are optional. If not provided, the start value will be automatically replaced with a 0, and the step value would be assumed to be equal to 1. You could also remember the stop value as most important, the start value as less important, and the step value as least important. For this reason, range of 10 will provide a sequence of 10 elements, starting from 0, implied after not indicating a start value, and ending at the 10th consecutive number, number 9. Python, however, will not display the sequence in the form of a list. Instead, it will show this as a range 0, 10, which stands for a range object with a start value of 0 and a stop value of 10. To display the sequence in a list, we can take advantage of the Python built-in list function, using this very same range function as an argument. In that case, we will obtain a list containing all integers from 0 to 9. The trick that was just introduced to you is something you will need to have under your belt if you are using Python 3 and want to check the values generated by a given range function. Also, remember that Python 2 will handle the situation in a different way. It will directly create and display the sequence as a list, as opposed to a range object. We will show how this can be done later in this lecture. And that's pretty much all you have to know about the range function in Python 2 or 3. That said, let's take a look at two other examples. In another cell, if for instance, in the range function, we declare as arguments 3 and 7, Python will accept 3 as a start value and 7 as a stop value of the range. So we obtain a list from this range function. We see that we have 4 elements, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. In another example, we may want to specify a step value in a range. To do this, we must choose the first 2 arguments as well. So let's obtain a list with all the odd numbers from 1 to 19 included. I will start with the number 1, and the list will end with number 19, which equals the stop value 20 minus 1. To state the odd numbers only, we must designate a step value of 2. As we execute this cell, we will obtain the corresponding range object. To see the values displayed in a list, we can use the same range function as an argument of the list function. Thus, we'll obtain the desired result, which means that we have worked correctly. This is how we can create lists with Python's range function. In our next lecture, we'll see how it can be applied in practice. Thanks for watching.